Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and in this video I want to show y'all how to make this vest, kind of. I'll be putting a picture right over here-ish of the costume that I'm making. It's Desert Bulma from Dragon Ball, for those of y'all who are Dragon Ball fans or DBZ fans or anything like that. But I'm using this pattern. It is Simplicity Costumes for Adults, pattern number 5359. There'll be links to all the different tools, materials, patterns, everything down in the video description below. But I'm going to get my pattern pieces cut out and kind of do a quick little time lapse of all that. And then I'll meet y'all right back here to start talking about piecing it together. Hey y'all, change of perspective. So I have my pieces cut out. I don't have any fusible interfacing as of right now, and it's all icy and gross outside. So instead of lightweight fusible interfacing, I'm just using a heavy like muslin, like duck cotton, something that does not have a good drape to it. Also, in addition to, I'm using a pretty heavy woven cotton anyways. Like, this is not a project that you would want to use like a gauzy, you know, silky, flowy fabric with, because you're gonna have to really beef it up on the lining. You want a little bit of structure to your vest. I have, again, the fabric I'm using does not have a right or wrong side, so you'll need to keep track of that on your own project. But I wanted to make it easy for myself, just in case if and when I do mess up. But I have two of this piece cut out on the fold. And they don't have to be the same color. You could have it be lined in different ways. Like, this is actually a really great vest style for Turkish style belly dance ensembles and different things, as well as like anything kind of Ren Fairy or Fae or fantasy or anything like that. I mean, or you could wear it to Walmart. I'm not going to judge you. So I have it cut on the fold. Also, I really love Simplicity patterns because their directions are very straightforward. I've gone through and marked with a highlighter just the vest portion that I'm going to be doing today to kind of try to help keep me on track. And then I've cut the same amounts as well. Here's one of the interfacing, and I have its little darts marked with the chalk. You just get, the camera doesn't pick up on it very well is all. And then I have the vest front. It says cut 2 of the fabric, and I just cut it out with a double thickness of fabric. So that works. Also, I'm making this to a size 20. So you'll want to make it to your size. I'm going to go through and mark the rest of these later or refer back to that. So step 1 says, make darts in vest front, press towards center front. With right sides together, stitch front to back at shoulder seams. What does that Greek mean? So we're going to start with just a simple part. Make darts in front. So you'll be able to see here, little darts like that. In vest front, press toward center front. So I'm going to need to go through on each of these and make the darts, and then I'll meet y'all, like I'm gonna put that into a bit of a time lapse, and then I'll meet y'all right back here for the next step. Okay, so I've gotten the darts sewn. I just did along the line, and then whenever I came to where it comes together, I came about a ½ inch or centimeter or so more farther, just sewing as close to the edge of the fabric as what I can. And then I am going to lay this down. I don't have a proper ironing board. I wish I had a tailor's hand, but that's neither here nor there. But make do with what we've got, and I am just going to iron right along over those stitches that I just did. Iron, iron, iron. I don't want to go too far up because I don't need a seam there. I just need this bottom dart. Okay, and now I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to be ironing the dart towards me. Well, or away from me, it doesn't really matter, but towards the center of the project, which on this piece is the shorter side, is how I keep track. So we want to make sure that this is nice and tight. We don't want any fabric like laid over on the front. I want to have that seam pulled pretty tight. And now I'm going to start just here at the bottom. And then as I get to the tip of the dart, since I don't have a tailor's hand, I'm actually, you can see, lifting the fabric up a bit to get the tip of the iron in there. And that's to try to give us this nice no dimple dart. Just like that. Pretty pleased with that. So I've done that on all of the pieces. Well, all the front pieces. And now let's start laying this out. So these are both to the same side. And these are both, hopefully, to the same side. And they are. Excellent. It's going pretty well so far. So now here with our lining and our interface. Okay. And so now the next step says, press towards center front with right sides together, stitch front to back at shoulder seams. So now what we're going to do is find our back piece. If you're doing it with a right side or a wrong side, make sure that it is lined up correctly. And that is with right sides together. So I'm just going to make sure that this is being done where I can see the darts. Because on a fabric where you otherwise, don't have any pattern or, proper right or wrong side, that dart is on the wrong side. Now I'm going to come through and use a couple of pins. Just getting everything just as lined up as well as we can. Boop, boop, boop. No reason to not be meticulous at this point. And I'm just going to do, and honestly 3 pins will do it. I used to not pin anything, and it showed in my projects. But I may do. So I'm just going to go through and do all the pinning first. So there's that one. And so I've got my outside layer, my lining, and my interfacing. So I'm going to go through and pin the shoulders of each of those. And then I'm going to meet you all at my sewing machine to get them pieced together. So I'll do that and I'll meet you all right back over there. Now also I forgot to mention, you're not going to be able to see it too well here on this one, what with the dark blue on the dark blue. But whenever you're at the tip of the dart, instead of just back stitching or snipping this off right there, I've cut both my spool thread and my bobbin thread quite long, and making sure there's no twists, I'm just gonna do a square knot, like you're tying a shoe, one, and then I'm gonna do a surgeon's knot, which is normally you'd thread it through once. Well, I'm gonna thread it through a second time, and then I'm gonna pull that down nice and tight. And then I'm going to snip it nice and close up. And so that's how I finish off my thread on my darts. Hey guys, so I'm doing a test fitting, and you can kind of see how this sits. I just have it pinned together in the underarm, and honestly, I could probably make do with a little bit larger of an armhole, but I'm losing weight, so I'll leave it like this. I lost 10 pounds last month, by the way, you guys. So it's not just me being like, oh yeah, I'll lose weight. It's like normally I would have made it to grow into a little bit, but I'm working towards the other direction. So hopefully I'll be able to keep that going. But this is the character that, if I can get, there it goes. So you can see how her vest is styled. It's Bulma Briefs from Dragon Ball in DBZ. And so this one with the neckline that it had designed just doesn't work for it. So I'm actually going to trim it before sewing the pieces together to give it a little bit more of a kind of rounded thing happening like in Bulma's. So let me find my pencil. And basically, let's see. I do like it stopping, like that needs to be rounded and this needs to be rounded. So I'm just coming through with this chalk pencil, doing a real light line. Just like that. And so now, let me take this off without poking myself with a needle. Hey Randy, can you come help me? I keep stabbing myself with a needle. Okay, so Randy has saved me from myself. Thank goodness for Randy though. But yeah, you can see here how I just had it like pinned just to, and I made it a little tighter. Like I was like, well, what if I were super generous with my seam allowance? So now I'm removing these pins and I'm going to make some modifications. So I'm going to change the camera angles so that y'all can see what I'm doing. And we'll pop it into a little bit of a time lapse. But I'm basically going to get this trimmed down and then copied over to the lining piece, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we have attached our interfacing. I have trimmed down the neckline to suit the costume. And let us read in the instructions, because that's a good idea, what the next step is. With right sides together, pin lining to vest, matching centers and shoulder seams, having raw edges even. Stitch lining to vest, leaving side seams open for turning. So I guess that's the side seams? Wait, what? I'm not sure I understand what that means. We're on number 8. Okay, so we've applied the... Okay, so we basically do the same thing that we just did, but with the lining and with the right sides together. So this is the wrong side, so we're gonna flip it over. Flipped over, and then we're going to take this guy and put its right side together with that one and line them up, but we are going to be leaving these side seams open. Yeah, because you can see here on the pattern, that's open, that's open, that's open, and that's open. So I need to do like a mental thou shalt not pass. Shall not pass here on the side. That way it'll all work out. So again, I am going to put this into fast forward and pin it, and reminding myself as much as possible not to, and in fact, I'm going to take a little pencil and do little X's. Nobody's going to see the inside. No, so leave open. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to get started doing that and then I'll meet y'all right back here. Okay, so I've just finished trimming back my seams with a rotary cutter. You could do it with scissors, or you could have bypassed that step altogether by just sewing up all of these layers with a serger. But I wanted to keep this video very accessible for if all you have is a very baseline sewing machine. Like my first sewing machine was a $30 Singer or Brother from Walmart, and it could do this project. So you don't need anything fancy. You don't need anything beyond a basic straight stitch. But a serger would have trimmed these up beautifully. So just saying. And now we get to do. You'd want to go through and do some little notches in your curves. And we're also going to make sure that all of our very pointy corners are trimmed. Just because that will eliminate a lot of the bulk that can happen in your project. So just go through, make sure as little bulk as possible. Trim, trim, trim. Okay. Fortunately on this project, there's not a whole bunch of them. Definitely need a fresh pair of sewing scissors or a sharpener or something. Been using the same pair of scissors for everything for like 3 years. Okay, so there we are. And now, our handy dandy instructions say, turn vest right side out by pulling each front through shoulder and out one of the back side openings as shown, and then press. So I think we're gonna have to do, because they're as shown is, yeah, I can't really tell what's going on there. So, but we need to get this inside out. We can make this work, you and I. And this is where doing the basting to get your 3 layers to just be 2 layers really comes in handy. Because now you don't have to worry about accidentally turning your interface inside out too. And so I'm basically just cramming it inside out. Or right side out, rather. This is very exciting, though. We get to actually see it come together, maybe. So I'm going to angle this down just a little bit more so you can see. And I'm trying my best to be very gentle. I did backstitch our edges, but there's no reason to be rougher than we have to be. And we're done. There's our vest. No, I'm kidding. But seriously though, like, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna be sad. Okay. Is that how it works? Okay, so there's the front center. Maybe we poke it up through here. Because I don't know if you can tell, but that's one of our darts. Okay, gently easing it along. There we go, just a little at a time. There's our shoulder seam. And I'm just reaching in, getting a couple of inches and pulling. So this is definitely a baby step kind of thing. Okay, there's that. Coming around. So our back is now right side out, and now we get to pull. Yeah, this doesn't look anything like in the picture. Well, I guess honestly, I don't know how I would have drawn this. Oh no, I missed a spot. Our seam didn't line up, but that's alright, we'll come back and fix that. And this next step of pressing all of your seams is going to be so important, because right now everything's like puffy. Like, look at how puffy that is. That's puffy. But, well, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. And it looks like I only missed one spot as far as getting everything sewn together goes. Okay. So you'll see there what I did is I took that raw edge and I've tucked it in as though it had been sewn, and then we're going to press it like that. Use my little cloth. And now I'm going to put this into fast forward and just start pressing.